What can we expect to see from 2020 exit polls on Election Day this November 3rd? In every election in modern history, we've had access to extremely valuable and telling information thanks to exit polls conducted by various news and/or media sources. Voters are typically asked as they leave their polling location a number of questions on a wide range of topics. Exit polls often include anywhere from 20 to 30,000 participants, with the 2016 CNN exit poll having 24,500 respondents altogether. Today we'll take a look at that CNN exit poll and analyze which data is going to look different this November. But before we do so, it's important to acknowledge that this election will be unlike any other, and the exit poll will be no different. With more mail-in ballots expected to be cast than ever before, in-person voter turnout could very well be one of the lowest in recorded history. It is also more than likely that Republican in-person voters will greatly outweigh Democratic in-person voters, with several polls showing a stark contrast in preferred choice of voting between the two parties. Because of this, CNN might try and find some way to balance the amount of in-person and mail-in ballot voters based on some kind of calculated expectation for the amount of voters voting in different ways. But even then, I find it very hard to believe that it will be anywhere near as accurate for the final vote count as it has been in past elections. Setting that aside though, based on polls and general trends, let's take a look at these results and see how they are likely to shift for either former Vice President Joe Biden or the incumbent President Donald Trump. First off, we can take a look at the age groups. It should come as no surprise that Hillary Clinton did better with younger voters and Donald Trump did better with older voters. However, in most 2020 polls, we've seen younger voters turn away from Biden and older voters turn away from Trump. Biden should still sweep age groups from 18 to 39, but it will be interesting to see to what extent the 50 and older age groups shift, given that they make a significant chunk of the electorate. If Biden really does end up winning from anywhere from 5 to 10 points in the national popular vote, it is entirely possible that he ends up winning in every age group, except for maybe 65 and older, which is the only age group John McCain won in 2008's landslide. The other demographic that really is key to election results is race. White people made up less of the electorate in 2016 than they ever have before, with the Latino vote creeping higher and higher. And given that Donald Trump is losing ground with white voters as a whole, but surprisingly gaining in the Latino vote, enthusiasm for Joe Biden among African Americans could have serious implications, similarly to how it did in the South Carolina primary earlier this year. Moving downwards though, party ID will be interesting to watch as well. There has been a lot of debate around the accuracy of polls weighted for the correct party ID. Many polls have used D+5, which would be a 2-point increase from 2016. Democrats do out-register Republicans nationally by a widening margin. And with access to mail-in voting, the reoccurring issues the party has had, turning out votes, might not be as much of an issue this election. The vote among independents will also be very telling, with independents nationally leaning towards the Republicans on average. Romney won independent voters by a larger margin in 2012 than Trump did in 2016, but that was when Democrats outnumbered Republicans by 6 points. This data, though, is probably going to be off no matter what, because if CNN only ends up polling in-person voters, Republicans will likely have an advantage. The military vote, as you see here, could also see a shift, following the story going around right now regarding President Trump's alleged remarks. Hillary Clinton only won 13% of voters that had served in the military in 2016, which is actually worse than Obama's 15% against former POW John McCain in 2008. When did you decide your presidential vote is also going to be extremely important this year as well, with many folks sending in early ballots. The higher the percentages are before October, the better for Biden, I would imagine, simply based on polling data throughout the summer. The 4 choices that were given in 2016 for most important issue were foreign policy, immigration, economy, and terrorism. I'd imagine the economy is definitely going to be on there again, as well as the COVID-19 pandemic. Immigration and terrorism have definitely taken a back seat this cycle, with debates regarding healthcare, race relations, and crime and violence taking center stage. Although healthcare and race relations are two issues mostly championed by the left, so we'll have to see what they do with all of that. Expect the economy to be an even bigger issue though than it was in 2016, with the pandemic up there as well. Voter opinions is going to matter a lot as well. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were woefully unpopular in 2016, but despite Trump being 5 points more unfavorable, he managed to win. Joe Biden may not be much more favorable than Clinton was, but he's certainly less unfavorable, which could certainly help him out. As for Donald Trump, his unapproval was at 54% in the 2018 midterms, which is down 6 from his 60% unfavorable in 2016. My best guess is that he'll fall closer to the 2018 number, possibly at 53 to 54%, and his favorability will be anywhere from 41 to 44%. And this you see right here still shocks me to this day. Is Hillary Clinton qualified to serve as president? The fact that 47% of respondents said no makes me wonder what she could have done that would have made her even more qualified, other than being more likable. Joe Biden is on her level with experience as well, but take away the sexism and add ageism and questions about his mental health, who knows what this number could end up looking like. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is obviously more qualified to serve than he was in 2016, so it should be higher than 38% for him this time around. 62% of respondents said the condition of the national economy in 2016 was poor, but it was certainly better than it is now, so that number will probably be even higher this year. The direction of the country may also end up being the worst in recorded history. I don't see Democrats or Republicans or independents believing we are somehow going in the right direction right now. At the very least, the wrong track percentage will be far, far higher. And next we have, are you confident in the vote count? This will also probably be a record high. Neither Democrats or Republicans have any reason to be confident at this point in time in the vote count. In fact, these last two questions may be the most bipartisan issues in the country right now, which is not a good thing whatsoever. But that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in this video. The truth of the matter is that we really have no idea what this is going to look like come election night, but I hope you all enjoyed. Please make sure to like the video down below if you did, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching, and tune in next time. EP out.